All right. Well, I have the humble honor of honoring Gregg Goodner. So show of hands, who has met or interfaced with Gregg Goodner? Yeah, like 99% of the folks in the room. So Gregg, I have found some contacts. I got a little information. I'm gonna give you a little picture of his life, and then kind of bring it back to the MHI side. But just to start out, so Gregg served on the Round Table for 25 years, starting in year 2000, right? And before that, in 1991 is when he entered our industry. He served on the conveyor side of things and everything in between. So, but in the professional sense, just to give you a sense of who Gregg is, he had a 21-year career at General Electric before he even came to Hytrol conveyor down in Arkansas in 1991. So he moved there to Jonesboro, and today, just to play it through, he's led the organization, he's grown it as president, and now he's on their board of directors. But this is a guy who is just all about service, and we certainly see that firsthand here with MHI. But just to give you a sense of the boards he's served on, and I'm just going to rattle these off because it's fun to do. So just since he joined Hytrol, the Salvation Army, YMCA, First United Methodist Church, Foundation of Arts, the East Arkansas Development Council, the University of Oklahoma Industrial Engineering Department, the Arkansas State University Chancellor's Cabinet, the Arkansas State University School of Business, the Workforce Training Consortium, St. Bernard's Hospital, City Water Light Board, and the Southern Marketing Affiliates of Arkansas. So I mean, just that's fun, right? So that's just service, and we happen to be one sliver of that here at MHI. If you go back to the true roots of Gregg, he met his future bride, Peg. So Peg and Gregg, always I do well with kind of lining up how names work. So that was always convenient. So Peg and Gregg met in college, and Gregg went to Westminster College in Missouri, and met Peg she was at Williams Woods College. And they were married in June 1970. Isn't that awesome? So they're in their 54 plus years of marriage. They're a match made in heaven. If you've ever met them, they're just peas in a pod. And I talked to Peg a little bit, and as you might know, Gregg he's the life of the party. He's that social creature that it just enjoys a good conversation. And Peg told me that every time they go to the country club, it takes him 40 minutes to get to his chair because he just knows everybody, and she never waits anymore. She goes and she's done with her meal by the time he gets there. She can't send him to the grocery store because he'll meet 3 or 4 people and it's 2 hours later, and she needed milk or something like that, so can't send him there. But talk about a man with a way with words. And if you know Gregg, he has that steady, firm, minority report kind of talk, right? And always would just kind of, I first met him in 2015 when I came onto the Round Table, and I think he was chairman at the time, and he had this just command of the room, and he could slow things down and catch your ear, and I'll never forget that about him. And when he first met my wife Gail, I said, okay, I'm going to introduce you to a guy like flip in the dictionary to what a Southern gentleman is, and there's his picture. He's just this, kind of grab your hand, look you in the eye, and just get to know you, look right into your soul. And ultimately, at the end of the day, Gregg's a family man. He and Peg, father and mother to Ryan and Lindsay. Sadly, they lost their son, Ryan, almost 2 years ago, and it'll be February. And they're still grieving from that. But the legacy lives on. He's got 3 grandchildren, Savannah, 15-year-old, in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then he's got 3 and 5-year-olds, Shelton and Greer in Dallas, which are the just the love of their lives. And where is Gregg right now? He's not here. And you guess it, he's with Peg. Peg's having some health challenges right now, and he's there at her side. That's A1 priority for him, and no surprise. So, so folks, I just want to, humbly again do our best here tonight to honor this amazing person. He's given so much to this organization, to all sorts of service organizations you've heard, to his family, and to me, he's one of a kind. So we could just all kind of raise our glasses, if you will, raise your hearts up, and just let's do our best to thank Gregg Goodner for all he's done for us.
Gregg.
So thank you, Gregg. Thank you. Yeah, I want to invite the next Brian with a Y up to take care of another maybe rhyming name. So.
Somebody else.
All right, thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I didn't do a lot of bibliographical research on the next guy that we're going to talk about. I certainly aren't going to read from a lot of notes. There's a couple of things I do want to say about Brian Cohen. First, he's got the right name. Now, I want everybody here who's named Brian to raise their hand. I want everybody here to look around and notice. And we've lost a couple of Brian's before Brian Cohen.
Wow.
But both the Brian's are diminished, and we do need to keep a strong front. I'd like everybody here who deals with overhead lift systems to raise their hand, including a certain executive who might have once dabbled in it. How many we got? There's a little more that I'm comfortable with, Brian's. I think they're trying to sneak up on us. And the worst one is there's a Brian who's also into overhead lifts, and he might be a double agent. And the reason I bring that up, the potential double agent, is whatever the exact opposite of a double agent is, that's what Brian Cohen has been the entire time I've known him. And by that I mean singular, direct, very steady. Those of you who finally got to hear him chat a little bit today, he was sick, didn't show up for the last meeting or so, the very steady demeanor that he has. There's no southern drawl to it, let's not make any mistakes about it. But it's so even-handed. It's something I can't relate to because I'm the exact opposite of what that might be. So maybe I envy it a little bit more than I should. But the very first round table I ever attended, when we went to dinner, I spent most of the evening talking with Brian. And that was when I was a newbie. Apologies to all the newbies who actually had to do stuff today and present. And I had to do the same thing. But Brian spent almost the entire dinner talking to me, and in some ways made me feel like I was the most important person in the room. That's a skill I wish I had. That's a skill I think we should all endeavor to have. Because as we ended our session today, and we talked about lifting other people up, that's one of the things that Brian has always done, but so subtly and so softly and so directly that you didn't even notice it. And the last thing I can say that means more to me than anything else about what Brian has contributed to this organization, what he's contributed to me personally, is he reminds me of somebody who spent a long time with the organization. And that's a gentleman named John Hill. And that deportment is very rare. And it gets rarer and rarer nowadays when everybody wants to be seen and noticed and look at me and post this on here and show this there and video this here in 5 seconds and I'm great and put a filter on me because God, I look too old to be on the internet. But that's the opposite of what Brian is. And for that, Brian, I salute you and thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you.
You need to get up. Why do you think Gregg didn't come?
Thank you, Brian. This is for you. Much appreciated. Thank you. This way you can get it back.
Show us.
No, I know of this.
Go, Tessa.
You know, men can do things too.
Not very well.
Well, let's not get complicated.
Yeah, there you go.
Brian, would you like to say anything?
I would like to say just something very, very